Okay, if you've ever set foot in Florence, you know the feeling. It's that amazing but also kind of overwhelming dilemma. There's a gelateria on literally every corner. So where do you find the actual best scoop? Well, today we're going to solve that debate once and for all. Let's get into it.
Right? You're there, in the birthplace of gelato, you're surrounded by all this incredible history and art, but let's be honest, all you can really think about is that perfect, creamy, life-changing scoop. With shops everywhere you look, where do you even start? It really is the ultimate Florentine quest.
So you think, okay, I'll just check what the experts say. That should clear things up, right? Haha, wrong. The experts can't even agree. One guide says Carpina is #1, no question. Another one crowns Gelateria della Passera. They're all looking at the exact same city, but they are coming up with completely different winners. So the real question is, why?
And that brings us to the heart of our little investigation today, Florence's great gelato debate. We're going to break down exactly why all the experts disagree and what that tells us about how we even define the best to begin with.
And here is the absolute key. This whole debate, it isn't really about who's right and who's wrong. It's about what each expert values. Are they looking for pure technical perfection and a shelf full of awards, or are they looking for a century of history and a recipe that stood the test of time? It's really a clash of philosophies.
So if we want to understand their picks, we have to understand their playbook. What exactly are the pros looking for when they take that first bite? Let's dig into how they actually judge gelato.
First up, you have to know about the heavyweight champion of Italian food awards. It's called the Tre Coni, which means 3 cones, and it's from a guide called Gambero Rosso. You should basically think of this as the Michelin star of the gelato world. It is the highest possible honor, and it's only given to the absolute best of the best in all Italy.
And believe me, this award is super exclusive. I mean, out of the hundreds of gelaterias in Florence, only a tiny, tiny fraction have this honor. As of right now, that number is just 3. Yeah, only 3. Earning a Tre Coni means you are automatically in the absolute top tier. No debate.
But it's not just about the Tre Coni. Experts weigh other things pretty heavily too, like a long historical legacy. You know, a shop that's been run by the same family for 4 generations. That carries a ton of weight. And so does international fame. Getting a shout out in the New York Times or, a glowing endorsement from someone like Stanley Tucci. And of course, winning big competitions like the Gelato Festival can totally put a shop on the map.
Okay, so keeping all of that in mind, let's meet our first group of contenders. These are the 3 cones champions. Think of them as the purists, the critical darlings who are just consistently praised for their incredible skill and creative flavors.
And our first champion is Gelateria della Passera. Now, this is a tiny little shop, kind of tucked away in the Oltrano neighborhood, but don't let its size fool you. According to multiple sources, it is the single most awarded gelateria in the entire city.
I mean, just look at its resume. It's won the prestigious Tre Coni for 8 consecutive years. That is an unbelievable run. On top of that, it's been singled out by the international press, including being named one of the top 25 gelaterias in the entire world by the Financial Times. One source just sums it up perfectly. They call it the undisputed critical favorite. When the judges are focused purely on the quality and the craft, Passera is always at the top of that list. Okay, next up is I Gelati del Bondi. This is another shop that proves it's in that elite club by holding one of those coveted Tre Coni awards. It's run by a true master of the craft. With over 40 years of experience, this place is just worshipped by critics for its dedication to pure, high-quality ingredients. They call it a sure reference point for quality, and it's especially famous for its incredibly pure fruit sorbets. And our third 3 cones champion is Carapina. Now, while it's also a winner of Italy's top prize, what really makes Carapina stand out is its absolutely unbelievable international press coverage. Seriously, just look at this list. Beyond the Tre Coni, it's been featured in the New York Times Magazine, praised by famous Italian food critics, and even named one of the top 20 gelato shops in the entire world. This place has a truly global reputation. Okay, so we've met the critical champions. But what about that other way of thinking? Let's switch gears and meet our second group of contenders, the time-tested legends. These are the historic icons, the places that are beloved not just for their gelato, but for their deep, deep roots in Florentine culture. And you absolutely have to start with Vivoli. This place isn't just a gelateria. It's a living, breathing piece of Florence's history. It is the oldest gelateria in the city, period. Get this, it was founded way back in 1930, and it has been run by 4 generations of the exact same family. For almost 100 years, Vivoli has been a Florentine institution, famous for its classic flavors and a particularly mind-blowing coffee affogato.
And this is a huge reason for its modern fame. Vivoli was featured on the TV show Searching for Italy, where Stanley Tucci himself crowned it as his personal favorite in all of Florence. You just can't buy that kind of high-profile endorsement. It brings a level of international fame that's almost impossible to match.
Our second legend is Badiani. Now, Badiani is also historic, but its claim to fame is something totally unique. It's not just a shop that makes great gelato, it's a shop that invented a signature flavor of Florence.
Founded back in 1932, Badiani is the creator of Buontalenti. It's a simple cream flavor named after the guy who supposedly invented gelato. Their recipe won a huge competition decades ago, and it's still a citywide classic. And you know they're doing something right. They've now expanded to 12 locations around the world.
So there you have it. We have the critically acclaimed champions on one side and the historic, beloved legends on the other. And this brings us right back to our original question, but now I think we have a much clearer way to find the answer. Let's wrap this all up by finding your perfect scoop.
So it really all comes down to this one simple choice. What do you value most in your gelato experience? On one side, you've got the champions, places like Passera, Bondi, and Carapina. Go here if you're a purist, if you're looking for that 3 cones level of perfection and really creative, artisanal flavors. On the other side, you've got the legends, Vivoli and Badiani. Go here if you're a traditionalist, if you're searching for a real taste of history, family legacy, and those iconic classic recipes.
So, it turns out the great debate is solved not with a single answer, but with a better question for you to ask yourself. As you're walking down those beautiful Florentine streets, what are you really searching for? The choice between the critics and the classics is now all yours. Which scoop are you going to choose?